Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
The BRB Racing Series visit to the dirt at Bristol just wasn't enough, so we're back for more. Welcome to the L-TAC Cup Series on Pit Stop TV. My name is Andrew Cardinale. This evening, well, not just this evening, all the time, I've got Trey Shuttlesworth as an analyst in our social media coverage, and we are ready to get going for the L-TAC Cup Series All-Star Race. That's right, the All-Star Race on Bristol dirt. These guys have 29 races on pavement for their season, and we're getting down and dirty, and we're doing an All-Star Race on the dirt at Bristol Motor Speedway. It's Bristol, Tennessee's pride and joy. It's up against these All-Stars this evening. Let's first, before all else, take a quick look at the track map, and of course, this is done for our pavement version of Bristol. This has the single pit lane. It's a little bit different, so these guys will still have the dual pit lanes here at Bristol, so very slightly different from what you'll see on this track map, but otherwise it is darn near the same thing, just covered with some Tennessee dirt, a little bit of Carolina clay, I believe, mixed in there, and who knows what else for some amazing racing action this evening. Of course, there's not just, well, the dirt track that these drivers have to contend with. There's a whole lot else on the line. Let's take a look then at the payouts this evening. The race winner, they were already going to get $25. We said, you know what, let's make that $5 this evening, or $5 extra rather. It's not a whole lot, but it's adding to that bonus, sweetening the pot a little bit. And the race winner, no matter what, gets $30 walking away from this one, be it straight up PayPal cash, be it iRacing credits, whatever they choose. $30. They walk away a race winner and a cash winner. But we're also offering a back-to-front dash for cash. And what that means is that two drivers, and we're going to go down from the start of the race, well, starting the front row, and work to the rear of the grid, and give two drivers the option to start from the rear, take an EUL, and race heads up for $10 extra to the highest finishing of the two. Back-to-front drivers do not, I repeat, do not have to win to get the cash. So literally any drivers in this field have an opportunity to go for it. The front row will be offered that opportunity first, and we'll work our way back to the very back of the field. Trey Shuttlesworth, this is only going to switch things up, and I'm looking forward to seeing what this adds to this evening.
Yeah, all around, I would say this event was, in some ways, and this isn't a negative thing, a lot of factors were thrown in at the last second, and that's not a negative thing by any means. It's an event just purely for fun, and as you can see, for a little bit of cash on the side, of course. And it's going to be an incredibly fun night. I think we've seen both on the iRacing.com service and in real life that stock cars are actually fairly conducive here on this pretty high banked dirt oval here that we have. Still have mile and distance, but a lot of range in terms of the line that you get to use here at the dirt version of the Bristol Motor Speedway. And as you said, yeah, just very simply a format that's going to be a lot of fun. And the invert is also something that we're going to have to take into account as well. I believe the front 12 in the feature field will have that invert. And then we do have consolations on deck. So there will be a lot of chances for drivers to try to make their way into the field. And the stipulations for getting into the field and say like the heat races are going to be quite tight.
And we have that detailed here. The track states for each of our sessions this evening. Practice opened up at 0%. Completely fresh racetrack, packed by our very own iRacing.com Pontiac Solstice earlier today. You can follow along on our social media to see that. Heat races, they're going to open up, and we're not doing qualifying actually. If you go down to section links, you'll notice that. No qualifying this evening. We're going from practice straight to randomly seeded heat races, and those will open up a 15% track usage and carry over through each heat race and into the constellations if we need them. And we're at 19 cars, so we might not even need those, Trey Shuttlesworth. We'll see how that goes, but they will carry over if we do use them. In the warm-up for this evening, it's just 5 minutes, and it'll open up at 20%. Now, the session lengths, 50-minute practice, that is concluding here in about 2.5 more minutes. No qualifying, as I mentioned, up to 3 10-lap heats. It was initially set up for up to 4. I believe it's set up to 3 based on the car count, so we should have just 2 this evening, which will change things up a little bit. It means the Heat 2 drivers will get inverted, I believe, onto the inside line, and the Heat 1 drivers will be inverted to the outside line. Then we have up to 2 15-lap consolation races. Again, not going to have those. We are under that limit currently, so unless we get 2 drivers in the next just 2 minutes, we're not having a consolation race. Then we'll have that 5-minute warm-up and a 75-lap feature race. So on the right side of this graphic, we've detailed how the lineup will be set. This is a little bit out of the window. We're not running those the consolations, so the heat winners should, and I say should, end up starting from the back of the, well, no, they would still start in row 6, but then the back 4 rows will just be set by the remainder of heat race finishes. So everybody in this race is, well, everybody in this practice is moving straight on. We've got 19 cars so far in the session, so we're not going to need a third heat. We're not going to need any consies. Everybody's moving in, just a couple of quick qualifying races, 10 laps apiece, then into our warm-up and into our feature race this evening. And again, they're racing for those dollars we've already highlighted. Before we go too much further, these guys are points racing this season, but not this evening. This race, a non-points event, but we'll still take a look at those point standings after Texas Motor Speedway 1 week ago. And things looking a bit like the normal so far. I personally have been away from the series for a couple of weeks, but everything looks about like it was. Holden McGill, he's still got a win, and he's still atop the point standings. Joseph right in behind. Merrick Watchorn finally grabs a second win on the season and moves himself into the top 3 as Logan Hamilton drops to 4th. You got Taylor Butcher Benjamin still in the top 5. Jack B. Ryan with his now 3 wins in 6th spot. He's missed a couple of races. I had to think there. Grant Peterson also has. And then you see some guys who are just being consistent. Jeremy Berger, Colin Stone, they've worked into the top 10. Rolaveld has slid. Then you've got Kevin Franks still hanging on to 11th spot. And Masadi is hanging there. Anthony Masadi, there we go, is hanging there in 13th spot. Barrick Uphold, he's worked to the top side there of the cut line. And the red names, of course, are the drivers currently below that cut line. We've got Stefan Brissell, Ryder Schrauf, Sean Deal, and Robert Pattengale trying to work their way in, point their way in, if not grab a win at some point in these remaining races to get into the playoffs. And those playoffs are coming up sooner than you think. Practice wrapping up, and we're getting ready here shortly, Trey Shuttlesworth, to go heat racing.
Yeah, and the nature, or rather the formatting of these heat races should make it so that drivers are really going to be on it from the get-go, just because there's only going to be 10 laps, and that can go by quite quickly here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Sure, it is one of the largest dirt ovals, rather, in the iRacing.com service, but heat racing, by design, will go by purely in a flash. Should be a lot of fun. Looks like we have about 9 or 10 guys gridded up in the first one, so I have to wonder if actually we might only be getting 2 heats just because of how the iRacing.com system decided to grid drivers tonight.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, this will basically line us up like dual races for the Daytona 500, just with that top 12 invert, so the top 6 rows will still get inverted in the feature race, but we've straight up got 2 heats to feed right into the feature. We've got 10 cars in this first one. Let's take a look at our starting grid. For heat number 1, Jack B. Ryan on the inside, Kyle Green on the outside. That is your first heat. And again, these randomly seeded. These guys are just thrown straight into heat racing. The bottom side of row number 2, look at that, Noah Carmichael in the 03 car, Ryder Schrauf on his outside. And Ryder, I can tell you, is a dirt guy. He's recently joined the BRPI Racing Series. We'll see what he can do this evening, starting 4th in this first heat race. Jeremy Berger, though, he'll line up 5th with Brendan Jenks starting from the 6th spot. Lining up 7th this evening, it's Joseph in the number 20 with Stephen Parrott on his outside. And it looks like this lineup mixed up a little bit. I believe Jenks did not grid up, which is why we've got Roy Grande there on the bottom side of row number 5 and Brett Fisher heading up the rear. He's also a dirt guy, at least he's joined the BRPI Racing Series lately, so he should also have some speed in that 30 car. So 9 cars, it looks like, have gridded up and are ready to go this evening for our first heat on the day. And I'm excited for what these 10 laps have in store for us this evening. Thanks so much for joining us here on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you're watching from. Thank you so much for being here. Can't wait to get things rolling here from the Bristol Motor Speedway. A little bit of a different situation. Usually have a couple of commentators alongside. We're going to go with it at the seat of our pants this evening and see how things go. So into the high banks of turns 3 and 4 for the final time before getting racing here from the Bristol Motor Speedway. It's the L-TAC Cup Series on dirt at Bristol. We're green flag. And already these drivers struggling for grip. You see Jack B. Ryan on the top side trying to figure things out. There's a big battle on behind, and we're waiting on the heat to update with laps. You'll see that change here momentarily. This is the battle for second place. Joseph working his way up on the top side. Jeremy Berger there in third. Brett Fisher sitting in fourth. And these guys trying to find what's working best for them. It seems like that top line, oddly enough, is working really well right now. There we go, as Joseph works things out for his number 20 car. Still the race leader, though, Jack B. Ryan. And I'm really surprised that these drivers are going so far up this racetrack. And Joseph is just beating that right rear out of his number 20. They're starting to sort things out, though. Where the transfer position would have been is right here for Brett Fisher. He would have been out as, wow, Jeremy Berger to the inside of Joseph, and we'll race on to lap 4. Another great look at a race leader, Jack B. Ryan, sorting things out. He's got a different number on his race car this evening, but that's all right. And boy, this field is thin. You see all that gap all the way down back to 5th place. That is Kyle Green leading the charge back here in the Busch 76. And Roy Grande working the bottom side of the Baja Blast machine. And, oh, that was Ryder Schrauf into the wall. He's headed backwards. The dirt racer starting to slide this evening, and not the way he wants to. Grande working the bottom side, and Green checks up. 3 wide. They're in the wall. They're spinning. A big crash. Parrott's in it. We might have a caution. Jack B. Ryan still working the top side, and caution flag does fly.
L-TAC Cup Series race control will throw that caution flag, and that should, in theory, set us up for quite the showdown here. It should only be a couple of laps if caution flags do count here tonight for the L-TAC Cup Series All-Star race.
Yeah, this will be a short jaunt to the finish. We'll see what happened to these guys back here. We watched it live, but let's get another look at things. So this is Ryder Schrauf in the 58 car, and he was coming up on these guys rather quickly. In fact, he gets right up to the outside of the 76 of Green and then kind of falls back. You see Grande working the bottom. Love these onboards on dirt, and they end up 3 wide. Schrauf just shot the gap, and Green came off the wall. They end up tangled up, and Parrott nowhere to go. He ends up in all of this as well. Gives these drivers a chance to kind of reset, learn from that quick little 5-lap, 6-lap run in this first heat race of the evening. It's lap 8 now. Caution laps are counting. See how that changes things rather off of this restart. We're definitely not getting 2 laps. We might still get the 1, as we'll roll, I believe, by the flag stand this next time around the front straightaway. Yeah, that was the back stretch. So around the next time, we should get the 1 to green signal, I hope. We should be back racing in no time. Once again, I want to thank everybody for tuning in on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. And want to thank these guys as well. Tucson Sound Art, your picture, your music. Make sure to use promo code PITSTOPTV to get 10% off of your order. And I can tell you, looking up at the top left, we have extended this heat race. So we're going green, white, checkered race, and overtime finishing here in this heat race. That is interesting. I have not seen that many times on dirt, but I'm looking forward to it. So we'll still have a chance to finish this race under green flag conditions. We also, of course, want to thank the people at Race Pace, most notably Tyler Campbell, the big setup builder over there. He's got a lot of setups working their hardest right now on the iRacing 24 Hours of Nürburgring. Make sure to check them out at that Discord link bottom right. We, of course, also want to thank Permanent Makeup in Cryo in Maine, where you deserve the best you deserve the best care. There we go. That money can buy. And, of course, Whiplash Media, the official graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV. And how can we forget? Well, we can't forget BAM Racing Videos by a race fan for the racing community. He is at Lancaster Speedway this evening. So certainly check him out on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube if you want to see footage here soon. I don't know exactly when he's going to have that out from Lancaster Speedway, but he is at Lancaster Speedway in South Carolina this evening grabbing some footage for all of his fans, and it should be a doozy. He's even adding a speed shot to the mix as we get ready to go. Overtime racing from the Bristol Motor Speedway and heat race number 1 of the L-TAC All-Star Race. Green flag back out, and Jack B. Ryan leads us to turn 1. Down the backstretch, Joseph hard to the wall, but he's posing a threat. He's going to go work the bottom side, and that bottom side, I guarantee you, is going to be fast once somebody figures it out. Joseph tried. White flag in the air from Barney the Flagman, and we'll see what Joseph can do this time in 1 and 2. A bit sideways down there, certainly running through the slick. Fisher up and running with Jeremy Berger. That's the fight for the top 3, but out front, it's all Jack B. Ryan. As these guys, I'm very surprised by how topside this race has been so far. Jack B. Ryan secures Heat Race 1 victory with Joseph and Jeremy Berger second and third. Remember, the top, let's see, 6 drivers from this heat will get inverted once we get into the feature race. We'll see how that works out, and they all get a chance, of course, to go from the back to the front for an extra few bucks this evening. For heat race number 2 then, we've got a field of 9 cars, 10 laps, once again the race distance, and we'll see how they line up. Starting on pole, none other than Taylor Butcher Benjamin in the number 1 machine with Logan Hamilton on his outside of the Tucson Sound Art Chevrolet Camaro ZL1 1LE. Starting third this evening for heat race number 2, it's Barrick Uphold with Tommy Gossett. How about that? To his outside of row 2, although Tommy Gossett has not gridded. Hopefully he gets on the racetrack soon. Starting from the inside of row number 3, Merrick Watchorn, fresh off of a Texas victory, will start to the inside of Cole Freilich, although I think that will change to Nate Brooker here momentarily, as Frank Flores will start to the inside of row 4. Nate Brooker should get moved up to row 3 after Tommy Gossett did not grid. The back row this evening, just Anthony Masadi, and he will grid up and start this race from the 9th position, technically 8th, since we don't have Gossett in the field. Hopefully Tommy Gossett gets out there and gets ready to get heat racing with these guys. He's got a great chance at up to $40, as well as the rest of all of these drivers. And look at that paint scheme change there on the 12 car. I like sliding the number back, but well, I don't like sliding the number back, but it certainly works for this this use. Heat 2 then on the way rather quickly for these drivers. Again, 10 laps the distance. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, your pole sitter for this one. You see Logan Hamilton, again, on his outside. At 92 of Barrick Uphold, he's got a win coming, I think. He's had some great runs lately. He's just got to put a race together, along with a lot of these guys in the field and in the league, a lot like Taylor Butcher Benjamin. We'll see if it happens this evening in the non-points contest. The L-TAC All-Star Race from Bristol Motor Speedway. Oh, no! Logan Hamilton just right hooked our pole sitter, and Taylor Butcher Benjamin is in the back. He is backwards, and that's going to be a problem. I think we might see that taken care of by race control. I think the 12 should probably go back to the end of the field.
Still waiting on notice from race control, and as I say that, Nolan Rempel will administer an end of the longest line penalty to the 12 of Logan Hamilton. Should have a decent amount of time to get back up into a position that might actually work into his favor if he can get back into the 5th or 6th position, I believe, are the positions that would really benefit from the invert.
Yeah, still plenty of time to go, but you see just when Logan got on the throttle, the car turned left, and I can certainly understand where these guys might not have practiced that, but that's why you should practice that, and you should be used to the car just taking itself left like that, because suddenly you'll be in that scenario, and, well, you don't want to be the guy that does exactly what Logan Hamilton just did. But Hamilton to the back end of the field, Watchorn will inherit the race lead, and that's a quick way to get things rolling and get a few laps ticked off in heat number 2. Can confirm, it looks like no Tommy Gossett in the field. He will not be joining us in the number 54 car this evening. I'm not sure if he'll still get transferred into the feature race or not. That's yet to be, well, figured out. Shall see very, very soon, though. And by all means, everybody out in the chat, be it Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, wherever you're watching from, let us know where you're watching from, who you're rooting for, as always. We love interacting with you guys on the stream chat. I think that's something that kind of goes unnoticed a lot of the times, or I guess unsaid, because we always take a look through it. We just don't always get a chance to talk to you guys through there. But with this caution flag, we might get that opportunity. And I also want to say, Trey Shuttlesworth, this is a great opportunity for these drivers to just get a chance, come out here, have a little bit of fun, mix things up, and really, there's no consequences for it. I don't want to say there's no consequences for it, but certainly few repercussions. Just a chance to go out here, have some fun, and no points on the line.
Yeah, and what better place to do it than a track that some drivers may not be used to. Some drivers may not, have a lot of experience on the dirt oval discipline. And to step into these, excuse me for a second, incredibly high-powered stock cars, it could be an incredibly difficult challenge. And if you're someone that's still trying to keep the points racing mindset in your head, I think it'd be terrifying to come to this racetrack with little experience, knowing that, you want to at least come away with some points. It might be a race where if you don't have a lot of experience, you might even want to skip it. So to make it a non-points all-star race, it does, as you said, take all the consequences away.
Coming to the green flag here for heat number 2, and Watchorn gets a bit sideways. Freilich looks to the inside, and will he go? He will. 3 wide for the race lead. Oh my gosh, Nate Brooker on the top side. He might go 4. What a start, and we've got another big wad him up. Oh, maybe not. They somehow straighten it out. Still 3, 4 wide. Flores through the middle. Watchorn gets beaten around, and of course, it's Taylor Butcher-Benjamin that goes around. That poor guy cannot get a break. Uphold leads into 1 and 2. Brooker into second. These guys beating these cars up. Oh my gosh, they're still going at it. Uphold gets through. Brooker gets through, and Freilich into third. You see those 3 up front. But all the action still for 4th on back. Hamilton, he's even gotten through, so it's 5th on back. Watchorn in 5th. Flores in 6th, and these two right here going at it. Flores and Masadi. Masadi up into the wall hard. I'm surprised these guys aren't just putting forth the discipline to run that bottom side. It's really beneficial, and I think the first guy to figure it out might have this All-Star Race 1 in the bag here in a little while. Lap 9 of 10 now. Eric Uphold, your race leader. Down the backstretch he'll go. And Nate Brooker and Cole Freilich, well, they're split apart in decent ways, but Logan Hamilton almost had Freilich for a moment. White flag out for a race leader. And Uphold, you see him throwing that car so sideways in the corners, running through the middle, almost to the top side. Brooker, yeah, these guys really running through the middle. I think that's going to change a lot once we get to feature racing and these guys really wear the track in. But out of turn number 4, heat race 2 win goes to Barrick Uphold. Brooker second, then Freilich, Hamilton, Watchorn, Flores, Masadi, and Butcher-Benjamin. There at the end, man, he was just on the wrong side of everything this evening, at least through the heat race. He's had terrible luck this season, and hopefully that turns around soon. But just like that, we'll go right into our warm-up, and we are almost ready to go feature racing. Ryder Schrauf going to be one of the first to get onto the racetrack, it looks like, and we'll see how he does in this warm-up. We could really get a chance at this point to go through a lap with these NASCAR Cup cars on the dirt at Bristol Motor Speedway. They, of course, ran the Truck Series here as well, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, but I think the Cup Series definitely, obviously, headlined the weekend and stole the show a little bit, albeit moving a day or, what was it, day or 2? It got moved to Monday, right? Not Tuesday, after some rain. Even the truck race got moved. And down to the inside goes Ryder Schrauf, and you can see he's trying to enter on the bottom side, but he's just sliding up right now. You've really got to pedal this race car. You've actually got to run it a bit like an asphalt track if you want to run that bottom side. And it is, I can tell you, definitely faster than slinging it up top like this. But everybody's still doing it. There's one that goes to the apron. And now is going to stop, oh my gosh, up the racetrack. Noah Carmichael nowhere to go. Joseph on the racetrack as well. Again, working the top side right now. And I was talking to Ryder Schrauf earlier on today, and he was talking about how much he wanted to get that top side cleaned off once these guys got the track going. And I think he also pictured that there would be more cars in this race to work this track in during the heats and consolation to get an idea of how things were going to transfer over in the feature as well. But I still think you'll see that 58 trying to work the top and try to get that going. Be it to just clean the marbles off, well, not marbles, but loose dirt off, pack it in a little bit, or what have you. Joe, you're obviously a dirt guy. I got to ask, I don't know if you have experience with these cars here or not, but if you're looking at the situation as it is now, where are you going to run? Where are you going to try and get your practice in?
No, that's an absolutely great question, Andrew. And of course, a lot of it is going to depend on the individual driver when they go out onto the racetrack. But going off of personal experience, there is a massive amount of risk involved in utilizing the top side at a dirt oval, especially even when you go to a racetrack such as Lernerville, where if you just mess up just a little bit, you're falling off the cliff. But no, here at Bristol Motor Speedway, you're going to get into that outside wall, and it's not going to be the safer barrier, which would be a little bit more forgiving. No, you're going to go into the concrete, and it's going to cause potentially a critical amount of damage. So if you can figure out the throttle modulation required to run the bottom at a dirt oval, it can definitely pay off a lot. And oftentimes, it's a line that's not utilized quite as much by race car drivers, which means oftentimes that lane on the freeway, if you will, it almost functions sometimes like an HOV lane if you can figure it out on certain track conditions.
We'll see some of what I'm talking about here with Butcher Benjamin. Actually, maybe not. He's going to fling that car in. I think these guys are working against themselves right now. I think one of these guys is going to have to figure out how to work that bottom side and pedal it and just easily turn the car in. And we saw this in the NASCAR Cup Series as well, where these guys doing what they're doing right now, trying to flick it in like a dirt car. It's not going to work out.
It's been a little bit since I stepped into the car, and I don't think I had the opportunity to step back into the Cup car after an update to the dirt tire physics, I believe. But from what I've seen, yeah, the wheel inputs do almost resemble what you would see on a paved oval, like you said, and the cars are, as a result, almost, I would say, a bit quicker than they were initially.
Oh, way quicker. Over a half second, closer to a second even, once you get into a slick racetrack scenario. I mean, we were working the top side the entire time pre-update, and I mean, when this came out, when Dirt Bristol was added and the Cup cars got this big update as well, I was all over it. So I got plenty of laps in these race cars, and usually I wouldn't be so matter-of-fact, but this time I am, and I'm really surprised these guys are not working the bottom. But I was quick to get out there and get tons of laps in. On the top side at first, it was the way to go. It was top at Bristol. Pavement or dirt, that just seemed like the way to go. Here we go. Parrott's working the bottom side. I like this. This is what you saw in the NASCAR Cup race, and this is going to stand up to the test of time in our feature. But once they released that update, things drove completely differently. The setup drove completely differently. And I actually raced with Derek Krause at the end of NIS, the NASCAR iRacing series, where you can run half-length Cup races throughout the week. And straight up, I figured it out before anybody else, and I hate to toot my own horn, but it's just how it went. Once everybody else saw it, of course, they got it working better than me, as Parrott now going to go to the top side. But if you can pedal it down on the bottom, and if you can be very disciplined with the brake and the throttle so as not to lock up and so as to not give yourself unnecessary wheel spin, you're going to have a fantastic time working that inside. You're going to be faster than everybody else because they're going to be too worried about racing up on the top side, and when they start to check up, when they start to have to battle, you are going to go on by. So I truly believe, in the context of this race and what these drivers are doing this evening, I truly believe that the first driver to figure out the bottom side will win this race. That said, we're ready to go into our feature, and we'll walk down the grid here momentarily. 18, I'm going to say. It looks like we are getting 19 total opportunities to start this race. We'll see if everybody actually gets in and runs this or not. Of course, only 17 ran the heat races, but we'll take a look through anyways, and we'll get an idea of where everybody is going to start. We'll also see in a moment if anybody's taking that back to front challenge. On the pole, however, via the invert, it's Frank Flores. He's going to have our first option to go to the back. Ryder Schrauf then right there with him. And again, these guys getting inverted from the 6th position in their respective heats up to the front row. Let's see how things work out for them. On row number 2, though, Merrick Watchor and Stephen Parrott, again, they could have an option to go to the back and work their way forward for $10 extra as well. Starting 5th this evening, Logan Hamilton, Brett Fisher on his outside. The inside of row number 4, it's Cole Freilich in the 15 car. Jerry Berger to his outside with Nate Brooker in 9th and Joseph completing our top 10 starting positions. Starting from 11th as Frank Flores. He's taken the option to go to the back. He is our first guy to do it. How about that? Barrett Cuphold will start from 11th. Now he'll be promoted up to 9th. Jack B. Ryan will start from the 12th spot. Starting 13th, Noah Carmichael in the 03. 14th, it's Anthony Masadi in the 49. Starting 15th, Kyle Green. Starting 16th, Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Starting in the back, we got Roy Grande, Tommy Gossett, and Brandon Jenks, if he does end up gridding up in that 08 car. Frank Flores at least taking the opportunity to do it. He's taken the opportunity to go from the back to the front. And Ryder Schrauf going to go along with him. So our front row is taking the back to front Dash for Cash Challenge. How about that? We've got the 2 drivers that will be going at it head to head. And it doesn't matter. They do not have to get any higher than where they are starting, actually. Just the highest finishing the highest finishing driver of these 2, rather, gets that extra $10 bonus. So either one of these 2 guys, they have that opportunity to go for an extra $10. And if they win this race, they've got an opportunity to go for 40 total. Ryder Shroud, Frank Flores will be watching out for them all evening long. However, up at the front, the top 2 starters then, they don't have an opportunity to go for that bonus, but they can still go for $30 at the end of the night. It's Merrick Watchorn, Stephen Parrott on the front row by default. Coming to the green flag, waiting on it, and the signal from the starter, we are green in the L-TAC Cup Series All-Star Race at Bristol. Down the backstretch, lap 1 of 75. You see everybody clamoring to get to the top side. A lot of crunches I'm hearing already through 3 and 4. These guys sorting themselves out. It looks relatively orderly, maybe a turn for second place as Fisher got some contact. They're starting to sort things out, but a lot of contact still. Here comes Joseph. Joseph up the inside. Berger faltering up top. A lot of missteps, and they'll finally get things sorted out. Stephen Parrott, the race leader. As far as our Dash for Cash guys, Ryder Shroud, he's in 14th. Frank Flores right ahead. We'll even go on board with the driver out of Indiana, Ryder Shroud, as he works the top side. Frank Flores there in the 23. These two, they don't have to win this race. It's just the highest finisher of them that ends up getting the extra $10. That said, Stephen Parrott currently in contention for $30. As all of this midfield jostling is going on, I love this stuff. This is fantastic. Just watching these guys have an all-out slugfest. One around, Watchorn, and they pile in. No caution, there it is. I was just going to say no caution, and then it came out. Merrick Watchorn turned around, and oh boy, that car is hurting on the inside of turn number 2. He may not be able to get back into this race, and it looks like caution laps are not going to count this evening, so that is certainly of note. Big problems for Watchorn. We'll take a look back. In the 91 car, he was just ahead of Merrick Uphold of the 92, gets a tap from behind, and this just moves him back in the order. This isn't when he got turned. It'll be this next time through 1 and 2 that he ends up going around, and we'll watch from high above the Bristol Motor Speedway. He gets up and just straight lines Nate Brooker, and then the 03 comes off the wall. That's Noah Carmichael, and Frank Flores feeds him into that tire barrier. Trey, that's going to spell trouble for Frank Flores. That car is not going to drive the same.
By no means. The good news for Frank Flores, just the fact that we do have at least one fast repair tonight. The bad news, though, it is really early into the race. And as you said, Andrew, with caution laps not counting, I think that could lead up to the potential to it, rather for a series of cautions, which could really lengthen the running. It can also make it more difficult to get your car to the end of the race. Ooh, yeah, that is some pretty critical contact.
Both of those hits, big for Frank Flores. We'll see how he's able to battle through that as he's going to, it looks like, he's still pretty deep in the running order here as he paces. And the positions are all going to be wonky because of the no caution laps counting, but he is well deep in the order once we get it all sorted out. Stephen Parrott, though, the race leader. Brett Fisher looks like he's worked himself into second, then Cole Freilich in third, Joseph fourth, Logan Hamilton your top 5. And I just want to harken back to the point that this is a great opportunity for these guys to just get out here and have fun. Stephen Parrott not running the season, but coming out here making a start in the All-Star race. It's open to anybody in the L-TAC Cup Series, which is why we see some of these guys coming out of the woodworks almost to come out here and race. I'm a bit surprised, though, from Tommy Gossett, Brendan Jenks not starting this race, but having connected to the race session earlier on. I'm going to have to call those guys out, especially Tommy Gossett. He is a regular over in the Nork iRacing Series, and he's got some connections here with us at Pit Stop TV.
Yeah, it is unfortunate. I would think, just based off of what we've seen from Tommy Gossett, especially in the Nork iRacing Series, that I think he would adapt really quickly to the dirt oval side of things with the stock cars.
The world may never know, much like getting to the center of a Tootsie Pop. Getting ready to go green flag racing once more in the L-TAC Cup Series All-Star Race. Stephen Parrott on the bottom side, and they'll race off to turn number 1. Fisher on top, and he's going to really make that top work. Wow, Parrott just dipped onto the apron. That was well too low on the racetrack, but he comes out at a decent spot alongside of Joseph. Now, these guys, they're going to be all over the chip by the end of the straightaway, and Jack B. Ryan, the save. Again, these guys are going to be all over the chip by the end of the straightaway as see Ryan sling that car sideways. So that's the other reason that it's very beneficial to work the bottom because on the top you carry so much momentum that you're not even using the full gear. So whatever momentum benefit you get is just nullified by the next corner. It's better to just run that bottom side anyways. But nobody doing it just yet. Brett Fisher working the top. Joseph second. He's up top as well. Stephen Parrott up top. Everybody's trying to go up high. Jeremy Berger, he's got no front end. The first big battle, it looks like, is around 5th, 6th. Berg uphold here in the 7th spot. He's trying to work back up to Jack B. Ryan. He's going to drive through the slick into the corner, and these guys are really leaning into the throttle. You should be able to hear that on the broadcast. I'll try to make it a little easier for you to hear. They're really all over the throttle. They're just holding these cars as wide open as they can. Actually, Jack B. Ryan to the inside of Cole Freilich. This a battle for position. This for 5th, and ooh! Hard into the wall there for Freilich. That gets the 6 car sideways as well, as Ryan's going to fall in behind the 92 now of Uphold. Oh, and Freilich's around! Wow.
And it looks like, unfortunately, Uphold will go with him and go on his own 90-degree spin. Might have gotten a little bit of assistance, and it will bring out our second caution flag of the night. Already 10 laps into the running here at Bristol.
That's a quick halt of racing action once more. Cole Freilich at the center of this one this time. And you're going to see where the 6 car gets into trouble. Scored as the 2, Jack B. Ryan, usually the 2 car, but running that Ryan Newman paint scheme this evening. And Ryan just gets in trouble on his own. Oh, actually, with the help there of Cole Freilich. But Freilich held it for a moment, got into the wall there out of 2. Gets back up the racetrack, and oh, he just throws it sideways in the slick, and he ends up collecting Uphold. Uphold goes around, and that's unfortunate for Barrick as well, because he was really holding things pretty nicely there in the 92 car, and then just really no fault of his own gets sent around. We'll re-rack him, restack him here shortly, and do it all over again. And again, that lineup on our ticker is going to be a little bit off due to the no caution laps counting, but what I can tell you is that Brett Fisher is still the race leader, Joseph second, Stephen Parrott in the 3rd spot. It's good to see that Stephen Parrott machine back out in the field. I've not called that name since way back in the first season of L-TAC, way back in the summer of 2020, so it's good to see him back in the lineup.
Yeah, this week in general, it's just seemed like we've had quite a few returns. Just take the BRP races that we've had both on the dirt oval and paved oval side of things. It seemed like those series have almost turned into IROC-esque series in the sense of we're seeing a lot of drivers that we've seen featured in other series on the Pit Stop TV broadcasting service.
Yeah, we have seen a lot of crossover lately. It's really cool to see that as well. Guys like, well, for example, Aaron Smith crossing over into the BRP iRacing Series Asphalt Modified Tour that just got going, as well as all those guys getting into things in the Dirt Series with the Pro Dirt late models now. So a lot of cool stuff going on. I really like to see that. As we work caution number 2 this evening, lap number 10 currently. We'll come around and take lap 11 once we restart.
One more thing of note, I look in the iRacing session, do see that Merrick Watchorn, who was involved in that early incident, he has disconnected from the server, and as has Cole Freilich. So we should be down to about 14 cars as we take the green flag this time by.
Does look like 14 are rolling. Uphold still in the field. We'll see how these guys get going this time. Lap number 11 coming at you here momentarily. Green flag in the air. We are off and away at the Bristol Motor Speedway. Dirt on the concrete. Much like the World of Outlaws, but we're not racing sprint cars this evening. Look at Joseph. Power move on the bottom side. A little bit of momentum goes the way of Jack B. Ryan on the top. But I think if Joseph works on that bottom side, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they've done something lately and updated these cars, but certainly back around the actual Bristol Cup race, the bottom side was best. It's really surprised me. Maybe the setup is a little bit different, and it's just harkened to the top side. But Masadi now on the top, and Joseph down to the bottom. And it really does seem like there must be a difference in the setup. Now, I do know the L-TAC Cup Series runs different setups for their points races. I wasn't sure if they'd be running a different setup this evening, but it's got to be a different setup this evening as well. Caution flag out, Nate Brooker at the center of this one of the Eagle Industries number 3. A lot of damage all over it. We'll ride on board with the Brit and see what happens up ahead of him. As I can tell you, he's going to get caught up in somebody else's mess. You see Benjamin up there. You see Noah Carmichael as well. Uphold. Berger in all of this. And into 1 and 2. Oh, you know what? He might have created the mess here with Taylor Butcher Benjamin, actually. He falls back a little bit now. And the one Brit in the L-TAC Cup Series, a lot of trouble. And he did create the problem. I said it was no fault of his own. No, he tags Carmichael. And oh my gosh, the hit for Noah. So 3 on 03 violence for this caution flag. We'll take a look at things for Noah Carmichael here. And man, that's a big hit as well. That is a big one.
Yeah, I'm definitely concerned for Carmichael after that one. I believe he was involved in the first caution flag, and the hit he took would have been to around the area where the engine is on his stock car. So that very well could spell the end of the running for Noah Carmichael if he had to take that fast repair earlier. Of course, these cars, if they take a lot of damage here, this is the kind of racetrack where they'll be able to compensate for any damage, I would think, in theory.
Got that fast repair. He's going to get back into the field with a fresh Ford Mustang and get back into this one. Brett Fisher, still your race leader. He's going to opt to take the top side. Look at Jack B. Ryan's machine. All that damage on the nose of that race car on the bottom side. I believe we're getting ready to go back green flag racing this next time through from the looks of things. And we should be green flag this next time around. We'll even take the onboard of Brett Fisher to confirm. And no, looks like we will stay caution flag one more time. So these drivers still have a lot of racing, over 60 laps in fact. Get this race sorted out. And I'm actually a little bit surprised that caution laps are not counting in a race this long. This is definitely, if these guys don't get some race knocked out here, this could take a little while. Hopefully we do get things moving along rather quickly, though. We work caution flag at number 3 of the evening, and I'm just looking forward, and we do get the 1 to green signal that time by. I'm looking forward to a bit of a green flag run, seeing how these guys spread out, seeing how the paces differ. I think if these guys can get racing for a little while, and you know, obviously some lap traffic might come into play, but if these guys get racing for a little bit, we might have something pretty nice on our hands. Now, to refresh you on that Dash for Cash, the back-to-front challenge for Ryder Schrauf and Frank Flores, well, Ryder Schrauf is into, it looks like, the 5th position. So he's currently looking pretty good in that challenge, and a pretty clean 58 car as well. A little bit of nose damage, but he should get through on that. And we will get back green flag racing this time. Fisher, the race leader, an early launch for these guys up the front. We race down to 1 and 2. Joseph this time on the top side. There has to be a setup difference, and caution flag is back out. They got rolling quickly from this one. I'm not even sure who was involved in this, so we'll just take Nate Brookers on board, and we'll wait for something to happen on this one, because again, this happened so quick. We don't even have a great read as to who was involved. This is off of the restart. Nate Brooker back here at the very back end of the field. This should be a nice idea of what goes on in turns 1 and 2. We didn't get far before caution flag came out. There it is. Masadi goes around and does a quick loop-de-loop in turns 1 and 2. You see how quickly he got rolling as well. Take the onboard here with the driver of the 49 machine out of Indiana. And I always found this is one of the trickiest parts of racing these stock cars on dirt, trying to master these restarts. You're going to come back up through the gears, and you may not even get into 4th before you get to turns 1 and 2, so you might still be in 3rd gear on the throttle down there. You've got to try and muscle your way through either the wheel spin or try and battle the motor bogging down. It sounds like he started in a higher gear, lower revs, He goes into the corner. When he flicks the car into the corner, just goes around on him. And that's something these drivers will have to be more careful of, I think. Just throwing the car into the corner like that certainly can do exactly that and throw you for a quick spin.
And of course, the threat of disaster is nowhere near as what you would see in real life on a real physical racetrack. But still, Muzzatti was in a position where he very easily could have seen his night end, or at least if he hasn't used that fast repair, he could have easily gotten T-boned, and in that scenario, he would have had to utilize the fast repair. So a great job of all the drivers around him to be able to avoid him, and it seemed like Muzzatti also did an effective job of locking the car down once he knew that it was going for a spin.
Yeah, pretty decent avoidance by most of these guys, considering what they're working up against. Certainly these cars do not stop on a dime on dirt. No dirt cars do. Taking a look at the race info now, the lap count of cautions, obviously that's going to be off because we're not counting caution laps. 4 cautions so far this evening, 1 lead change. As far as weather goes this evening, 81 degrees, a bit of a warmer evening, much warmer than in reality right now, I'll tell you that much, here in Bristol, Tennessee, virtual Bristol, Tennessee anyways. Track temp 71, not exactly something that matters too much on dirt. Calm winds though, which is nice. And we'll get back at it this time around. It looks like the Speedway. Brett Fisher still your race leader. No, caution lights still on atop the iRacing.com pace truck. One of the few times we're able to utilize that pace truck as well. And I like the recent variety of pacing vehicles in the iRacing.com sim. We have one of the onboards here with this pace truck. I love that we're able to use a few different pace cars now. This adds a whole lot to it, I think. And this is a great look back as well at the whole field as they get ready to go back green flag racing. You see Fisher there on the top side. He is first, just choosing that top side. And the Oscar Mayer 6 down on the bottom side, that is Jack B. Ryan, usually the 2-car in this L-TAC Cup Series. Third is actually going to go to that yellow Chevrolet on the bottom, and that is Joseph. We've also got Stephen Parrott on his outside. Ryder Schrauf going to restart from the 5th spot. He is going for those extra $10. We'll watch from the back, well, the top side of this iRacing.com pace truck as the field takes the green flag, and we get back to racing here at Bristol Motor Speedway off to turn number 1. Back at it. Lap 14 now as Parrott works the top side. Joseph having the battle from the bottom. And we'll ride on board with Jeremy Berger. In the thick of things, up in the wall. Working things out from that 4th position now as he gets by Uphold and Joseph. Joseph, the 20, sliding way back. A big trouble in turn 1. A big problem there in turn 1 anyways. And follows a lot of positions. Now back in the 7th spot as Fisher has Jack B. Ryan to worry about. A caution flag. Frank Flores, one of our back-to-front challenge drivers in this one.
We've already seen Flores involved in his fair share of incidents, and the troubles just seem to continue for the driver of the 23. We'll get a perspective and see what is the cause of this latest accident here on lap 16 of 75.
Big problems here for the driver of the 23. We'll take a look back, see what ends up happening. And I think he's just going to drive himself loose, and there's nowhere for Noah to go right there. Oh my gosh, Frank Flores. Oh boy, that motor's done. I'm surprised he keeps rolling. That's incredible. That's a heck of a hit. Watch that one back. And this from the onboard of the Tucson Sound Art machine. We'll see, he's just going to get loose on the top side, up in that loose stuff, and he was downshifting as well. That's going to be a problem, and then just, oh my gosh, straight in those barriers. There was nowhere for Noah Carmichael to go in all of this either. We're right on board of the Floridian in the 03. And we'll see the 23 work the top, get loose, and oh, it's the next corner around. Usually it's you guys that make that mistake, Trey. Usually I'm on top of when it's going to happen. And this time we'll see Flores make the mistake and come down the racetrack. Nowhere for Noah to go. Oh my gosh. That hit for Frank Flores is just incredible. Actually, I think Frank still had a fast... No, he may not have a fast repair. He's out there still with no front end on his race car. He's chancing things. He's got an opportunity to race Ryder Schrauf heads up for an extra $10. he may just be trying to ride this one out and get further into this race with his faster pair, and I think that's a decent strategy. Sit at the back, wait a few laps, and go back at it here in a little while.
And this is almost a cliche incident to cite, but I immediately think of that Roval race where Kyle Larson was able to persevere with a car whose suspension was essentially gone at that point in time, but he was able to just keep on trucking around the racetrack with the white flag, and that was able to, he was able to utilize that to advance the next round of the Cup Series playoffs, and I believe it was 2018, somewhere around there, I believe.
Yeah, no, that's certainly a great recollection there of that incident, and comeback drive for Kyle Larson. I like that comparison as well. There's been a lot of I guess times that kind of thing has happened, be it in the NASCAR Cup Series or any other series, be it real or sim. The drivers kind of waiting on their opportunity to get back through. We'll re-rack him, restack him. Brett Fisher still the race leader. Jack B. Ryan bottom side. He is second position. And we'll get restarted this next time around the speedway. It'll be lap 17 once we get that green flag, the drop of the green silk. And Stephen Parrott, I noticed he's in the bottom side now. That's going to change things up on this restart. Ryan's been holding tough down there. Doing a pretty good job on these restarts. I'm not so sure about the 69 on the bottom side, but we'll see what Jeremy Berger can do on the outside of the Ford Mustang of Stephen Parrott. Green flag back in the air. We're back at it here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. And Parrott, a very poor restart, I would say. Certainly losing a lot of time down there, a lot of grip. And falls back, battling for fourth with Joseph. These two nose to tail for second and third, though. Jack B. Ryan down the front stretch to complete lap 17. And Jeremy Berger all over the Wienermobile. Fisher low on the racetrack that time out of the corner. Gets a great drive, and Berger gives a shot in the shorts to Jack B. Ryan into turns 3 and 4. An update here on Ryder Schrauf going for that extra cash. He's got no front bumper on his machine. Sideways into the corner. Trying to save that car. Thankfully misses those barrels. It is not going to face the same fate there as Frank Flores. And we've got one around. Nate Brooker in the middle of the field. We keep racing. He's going to loop it again. Saves it maybe. We'll keep going. Brett Fisher, he's got over a second back to Jeremy Berger, who's now battling with Joseph as Jack B. Ryan goes for a spin. Caution flag. Oh, up the racetrack. Oh my gosh, that could have been bad. Check into what happens here for Jack B. Ryan. He was racing tooth and nail with Jeremy Berger for the second position. And Berger, big run to, I think that's 3 and 4 that time through. That was 1 and 2. Actually, to the bottom side of 3, here comes Berger. A slide job, slams the wall. Ryan down the racetrack, and it should happen this next time through. 1 and 2 right here. And just throws the car sideways.
And while we've been talking about the possibility of drivers trying to make that bottom line viable, but of course that means you're going to have to figure out how to manage the slick, and oftentimes it's going to require a lot more technical precision in terms of your throttle modulation. And unfortunately, it just seems like Jack B. Ryan's going to learn the hard way. Unfortunately, it's going to continue to get slick, so if any driver can go down there and make it work, I think they have the potential to receive some benefits. But as we've seen so far, Andrew, it just seems like there isn't a whole lot of pace down there for the current time, and that's just a case of a driver being punished for just not quite figuring it out on the entry of the corner.
Well, ideally, I'd say this racetrack, with the way it's slicking off, that the top side is going to fall away. I think certainly over the course of this race, the top side will start to fall off, and you will start to have problems up there. Jeremy Berger in the pit lane, it's like he might just be getting repairs. And after that slam into the outside wall, I'd say that's not a bad idea. Brett Fisher still the race leader. Joseph then second. And it's only lap 20 of 75. Certainly slow going so far in this L-TAC Cup Series All-Star race. But hey, these guys get their money's worth this evening. They get to come out here and have a decent little race here on the Bristol Dirt. But I do think this could negatively affect the racetrack over the course of 75 laps. On top of taking a little bit of extra time, I think this could certainly work against these drivers in that regard. Joseph, no front end. I think that'll be the theme this evening for sure. The Ryder Schrauf, no bumper. Taylor Butcher Benjamin, no bumper. Frank Flores, no front end at all. He's driving a modified out there. Although, hey, you know what? The Dirt Car Supercar Series is out there this evening. So maybe he's just going for the big block modified effort.
I mean, honestly, with the pace the stock cars have here on the iRacing.com service,
it might
get
be kind of comparable.
Yeah, exactly. I would imagine. Well, no, honestly, Andrew, I think they have about the same horsepower output, so I'd imagine they'd be fairly similar in performance around much of the racetrack. Although that stock car is quite a bit heavier than that big block modified.
I know guys like to run 358s versus big blocks. I wonder how goofy it would look to have NASCAR Cup cars thrown into the mix. That would be something. Of course, they would drive completely differently, but with the power output and the way these cars would drive it lately, maybe they would be relatively close. Green flag this next time around, the Bristol Motor Speedway. Just over a half mile. And the world's fastest half mile at green flag racing with some dirt on it. Lap 21 coming your way of 75. Parrott on the outside. Uphold there. Ryder Schrauf as well. Joseph working the bottom. And I think we've got one car slow. It's Kyle Green backwards. And caution flag is going to come out. Still staying there when he'll finally get rolling. We'll see what happens here to the driver of the 76. And this is going back to the restart. You see he's slotted in between Logan Hamilton up ahead and Taylor Butcher Benjamin out back. Basadi to his outside, Carmichael there as well. And I believe it'll be in turns 1 and 2 this time, if not the next time around. Carmichael has some trouble there on the start. And, oh, Jack B. Ryan, the send of all sends. Gets into the back of the 76 and just turns him around. There was a slight delay on getting the caution flag out, but Kyle Green waits on it and gets it. Jack B. Ryan. I want to watch this restart back. This will be a fun one. He has to go by Berger to get up to the 76. He's got to go through a couple of rows here. 3 rows, in fact. He gets to the inside of Berger there. Now to the inside of Flores. And digs right there. Look at that dive. Wow. Trey, have you ever?
To be fair, I'm sure I have. I've been on the iRacing.com service for well over half a decade at this point in time. But no, it was just purely full commitment. Just, yeah, maybe not the best idea in the world just because of how early we are into the running. Still with about, what, no, not 50. My mental math is really struggling here. About 55 laps to go here at Bristol.
Yeah, we'll restart with 54 to go. And what do you say, while we have all this caution period time, we grab a couple of drivers to speak with. We'll start off this evening with Brett Fisher leading the race. And Brett, we noticed you out there in the BRP iRacing Series, now getting some more dirt under your belt. Are you just a dirt racer by nature?
Yeah, I used to race figure 8. I know a little bit about it, but I run late models on Mondays, and yeah, it's coming naturally to me.
I would certainly say so this evening. No dirt on the front of that 30 car, and that's a good thing. What are you doing out here that's different from the rest of the guys behind you?
I just kind of see they're running the bottom. They're trying to dive in, and I'm just running the top, you know. But it's starting to go away a little bit, so I might have to search around here coming up in about 10 laps. So hopefully that top holds on and I get a win.
Now, I was pretty adamant at first that based on NIS a few weeks ago, the bottom would be better. Are you guys running a different setup?
No, I don't think we are. So if you say the bottom's better right now, I like the top. So
yeah, I've been completely caught aback by it. I think certainly the top side better currently. I was wondering if you guys were running a different setup than NIS was running. Hey, maybe not, but it's certainly surprising me. Who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out this evening though as you're running first?
My family. I got my grandpa watching back home, my mom, my dad. Yeah, just thanks for tuning in and supporting me.
Well, a big shout out to all your family watching this evening. Best of luck to you on this restart, Brett.
Hey, appreciate it.
Still a little over 50 laps to go. We'll get him back down there with his new teammate, Frank Flores. In fact, that's a great item of note. He and Frank Flores forming the very new Shake and Bake Racing. Frank Flores, of course, going for that extra bonus this evening as well as Ryder Strauss. So Frank Flores there, teammate to Brett Fisher now. We'll get things back going. Green flag racing and across the stripe. We get on to lap 22. Joseph on the bottom side. There is Dash for Cash. Possible drivers. Wow, the move for the race lead. Joseph ahead of Brett Fisher. And I may have just commentator cursed the 30 car. He falls back into second. The move of all moves from Joseph to claim the race lead in the wall that time. But what a move to get that race. That's incredible. I can't believe what Joseph just did. The battle for second, third, fourth, and on back. Fisher hanging on to that spot currently over Uphold. They'll keep racing for now. Down the front stretch, he solidifies himself into second place as Uphold holds on to third, and Ryder Strauss up the racetrack just barely gets the gap in front of Berger. He hangs on to fourth for now. He would certainly currently get that bonus over Frank Flores. And Berger now in the top five, well, stays in the top five. Brooker, I don't know how Nate Brooker's holding on with all that damage on that race car, but he is doing a darn good job of it. The Brit work at the top side, and he's got to have some dirt experience. He must have practiced a lot for this. He's got this thing rolling pretty nicely on the top side currently. Strauss still working the bottom. He's, well, the middle of the racetrack, the bottom of the top, if you will, as he looked to the inside of Uphold that time by. I still got to give a tip of the cap to Joseph off of that restart as the caution flag flies behind them, and the yellow silk going to come out for the 03 of Noah Carmichael. See what happens here to the driver of the 03. He's up ahead of a struggling Logan Hamilton. And Carmichael gets into the fence. This is a little bit earlier on. Riding the fence, comes off of the wall, and that might do it where he gets into Parrott. Slings it in on the bottom, and just gets loose. Oh! I was going to say he narrowly avoids it, but he does catch the barrels there on the inside of turn 4, it looks like, and that was turn 4. So this the back end of the racetrack, if you will, in the 03. Big problems. We'll try and catch that from his onboard now, as he was really working the top, then starts to ride the wall. There, comes down, gets Parrott, and then slings it in on the bottom, and that's just not going to work out for you. And barrels.
That's purely deja vu for him. Not, of course, as bad as the first incident where I believe he did have to utilize that fast repair. So just good reaction once he realized that the car was in a bad situation, just to start to lock it down and rather reduce his momentum. And it really made the impact almost non-existent.
While we have this stoppage of action, we'll grab another driver to talk to. And this time, we'll go to the current race leader, the new race leader, Joseph. And Joseph, that was one heck of a move on that restart. What do you think you have here to hold off the 30?
Well, I think the bottom's going to come in soon because it finally worked. Like, the last couple of restarts, it was starting to work, so I think it's going to be the lane sooner or later.
We're only a third of the way into this race. The track certainly slicked off, and it's been a while since you guys took the initial green flag. What do you think you guys got to do, I think, as a whole to just get some of these laps in?
We probably just got to give each other room, and once we get, like, spread out, like, that run was probably our best shot. We all got, like, spread out pretty much. But, yeah, that's how we got to get the green runs. You get spread out, and everyone run their line.
Now, we saw with the NASCAR Cup Series, the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series here, a lot of ruts formed, a lot of holes in the racetrack after these big, heavy stock cars tore the dirt up. Are you noticing any bumps out there? I know there's a couple around the racetrack that start to form after a while.
Oh, yeah, at the very bottom, there's, like, a transition at the apron area. It's pretty bumpy down there, so you just got to hit it right. Kind of got your left side under it, and that's how you hook it. If you hit it wrong, you can just go straight, and that's bad.
We'll let you go here in just a moment. Before we do, though, who do you have to thank? Who do you have to shout out this evening on that 20 car?
Pit Stop TV, Tucson Sound Art, you guys, great broadcast. And, you know, I'm excited. I'm actually leading. It's been a while, honestly. But I'm excited, and hopefully I'm going to go get the win.
Well, we don't have Trey Patton here to jinx you, so I think you'll be all right. Although, hey, I'll knock on wood real quick. Let me find some. I'll knock on wood, so hopefully I'm not the source of the jinx this evening. Best of luck out there. We'll see how you do.
Thank you.
Joseph this evening, currently leading the race. We'll see how he does on this restart. And, I mean, the last time through off of the bottom trying to fight there with Brett Fisher, it worked out for him. We'll see how it goes this time. Gets a pretty good restart, and he will well and clear that 30. Battle for second behind. Ryder Schrauf working the bottom and gets right on by that 30 car. But here comes Fisher on the inside. The couple of dirt racers fight down to 3. And Fisher comes out on the better side, but the bottom side, Uphold working the 58 car as well. One slow on the bottom, that's Logan Hamilton. Here comes Schrauf for more of the NOS, number 30. And Fisher on the top as Ryder Schrauf loses it, rather. Schreider, that could be a good nickname for him, though, as he loses third position. The RCS Racing 58 up in front of Brooker, and Brooker's around hard into the inside wall tire barriers. Or barrels, rather. Get back rolling, we stay green flag, but that was a big impact. Thankfully, he's able to continue on. Battle for the race lead. Fisher, the slider into 3. Can't quite complete it, and Joseph battles back on by. Here comes Uphold, maybe a shot to go after it with the 30 car. He will. He'll go down to the inside. The big send, and I like what Joseph is starting to do. He's letting these guys battle it out, taking a more paced line. But here comes Fisher again to the inside. Slide job again. He clears him. Oh my gosh, Brett Fisher. The caution comes out. He may have taken the race lead just in time. Well, we'll look to see where this caution flag comes out. And right there, Jack B. Ryan. So I got the right car, not quite the right moment. We'll take a look back and see exactly what goes on for the driver of the number 2, usually, the 6th this evening. He was battling here with Jeremy Berger. We've seen these two cars go at it a lot this evening. You can tell Ryan is taking a faster pair and just throws it into the corner, gets sideways, goes for a spin. Does he get hit? Thankfully, no. How about that job from Taylor Butcher Benjamin to miss the spinning Jack B. Ryan?
Excellent avoidance all around. My concern does kind of stem back to the battle we saw with the race lead. Conventionally, when we see races on the iRacing.com service that utilize these races where there aren't caution flag laps that count, normally the results revert back to the last lap. And I think, unfortunately for Brett Fisher, that means that overtake just isn't going to count, and he's going to have to pull it off again on Joseph. We'll have to see as time against scoring updates and the grid is reset for this restart.
It is looking that way, and I do think it kind of hurts Brett Fisher there. I'd kind of forgotten about that. You know, usually with these NASCAR Cup cars, caution laps do count. It's not something you have to worry about, but no, I think you're right, Trey Shuttlesworth. I do think Brett Fisher's going to have to do that move again to get the race lead, and I think Joseph certainly being shown as our race leader as we cross the stripe that time. Looks like we'll have a couple of more laps of caution flag at the very least. So what do you say we grab another, and we'll complete the top 3 at least so far this evening on lap 30 of 75. We'll grab none other than Barrick Uphold. And Barrick, 92 is starting to come back to you.
Yeah, I had to work my way up to the field after that first little incident, but trying to get it underneath of me. The bottom's not really working at all right now, so it's tough to pass.
Definitely trying to get an idea of how these setups are differing this evening from the NIS setup a few weeks ago. It's certainly looking different. NIS, the bottom side was a little bit faster. You guys right now, though, you've all been working the top, and how are things different for you guys?
Yeah, I mean, all the speed's on the top right now. I haven't been able to really find any speed anywhere else. You can try to get a slider on the bottom, but you got to try to get up there quick to clear him.
So what do you have to do on this restart, or one of the subsequent restarts, I'm sure, to try and get that race lead?
Yeah, I'm just trying to get it to the outside, and hopefully these guys get into each other or something, and maybe I can sneak past.
Best of luck to you, Barrick. We'll move you back down, and we'll let you get back at it.
All right, thanks, guys.
Barrick Uphold currently working the third position on this restart. And what do you say we just watch this restart from his point of view? We'll see what he can do in the number 92 machine. Comes in just to the top side of the playoff margin. Although, of course, points not counting this evening. Schrauf works the top, gets right on by him. And Uphold working the bottom. And Fisher's got to try and get back up to Joseph. Barrick loses that third position. Schrauf gets it. You see Joseph to the bottom side. Stephen Parrott as well. And that trio up top, they might have to search around. I think they will. Fisher, he might look low. He looks lower anyways. Schrauf sends it in high. And Uphold gets that spot. Caution flag out again. And Kyle Green this time, stuck on the top side. Gets that car back rolling, and we will take a look at this one. Kyle Green problems this time around. Uphold, Taylor Butcher Benjamin rather to the inside of him there. Noah Carmichael as well. And Green has been quiet the last 15 laps or so of green flag racing. Into the wall. Let's see, Flores on the bottom side. Carmichael loose, and Carmichael just puts him in the wall. I think that compounds his problems. Jack B. Ryan gets into him. It looks like he just gives up. Became the pinball wizard that he never wanted to be, and then kind of gives up into turn one. Lets the car go around, and we have a stoppage of racing action. Let's take a look back from the entire restart here. This is Kyle Green out of Florida. Man, he really just started getting beat around on that restart there, Trey.
Yeah, it's just purely the nature of restarts when you bunch up the field. It just seems to oftentimes just ramp up the aggression because you know this is the prime opportunity to be able to make up a lot of track position. And yeah, as you said, the hits just really seem to never stop coming for the 76 of Kyle Green. The funniest thing of it is that it didn't seem like any of the hits were incredibly critical. The car shouldn't be too badly beat up as a result of all those hits that the car took.
Yeah, no, it shouldn't be too much of a problem for him necessarily, but certainly always, I think, with these hits, reason for concern nonetheless. A lot of damage to a lot of cars this evening, but we will take a step aside. We'll go Pit Stop TV side by side for a moment. We'll be right back to you momentarily for the restart.
Have you found yourself trying to hide your joy because you're unhappy with your teeth? Your smile is the first feature noticed in an interview, on a date, or in family photos. We want you to be able to shine bright as your best self, and our teeth whitening system is the perfect step toward restoring your confidence. After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Ready to go green flag racing. This next time by, it's looking like, maybe not, looks like we have one more lap of caution period before we get back going. And those messages brought to you by Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, where you deserve the best care that money can buy. And Ashley Bollier and her team of specialists up in the great state of Maine certainly do a great job with their work. And if you're ever in need of any kind of work like that, by all means, get Permanent Makeup, not cryogenic, but cryotherapy. By all means, hit them up. Facebook and Instagram. They also have their website, Permanent Makeup in Maine. And I can personally vouch for the job they do. Even my grandfather got an operation, not an operation, but he got a touch-up, a facelift, if you will. 71 years old, still kicking. And you wouldn't know it. He certainly does not act like he's 71 years old. I just want to give him a shout out. Andrew Cardinale, if I'm the fourth, that would be Andrew Cardinale Jr. He's been a great part of our lives as he gets ready to go, well, maybe watching this evening. I don't know why I say he gets ready to go green flag racing. The field gets ready to go green flag racing, rather. Lap 33, now 75. And we'll do it all over again. Contact behind. Fisher up the racetrack. Ryder Schrauf said, "You're out of here." This isn't MLB The Show 21, Ryder. Green flag. Back out. One lap complete off of that restart. Brett Fisher, Stephen Parrott, they go at it for third. And a bump and run. Fisher moves him 3 wide. Big slam. Ryder Schrauf in the wall. They're all stacking up. Flores through. Suddenly Flores gets a $10 bonus. They file back out into 3 and 4. Carmichael bottom. They're all sliding around. More contact and Carmichael around. And a caution flag. I think we all kind of knew the risk coming into this race. But this could get a little bit out of hand pretty quickly, and it's starting to get that way. Carmichael in the thick of things here. You see everybody stacking up. Hamilton, Brooker, Masati, Berger in there. You see everything stack up ahead as well. Flores went on by Schrauf after this contact up ahead. You see Fisher kind of shoved the 69 into it up there, and then that's where Flores goes on by. Carmichael files by as well. Gets to the inside of Ryan. And this time in 3 and 4, what happens to Noah Carmichael? He just gets loose, it looks like, and Benjamin's there to kind of punt him around and a caution flag out there. I think we could have let that one stand. It would have sucked, of course, for Noah Carmichael, but the rest of the field, the other 13 cars in the track could have kept racing.
Yeah, no, definitely without a doubt. I would say just because at that point in time, it's probably about 10 seconds until the next car gets back around to Noah Carmichael. And at that point in time, the car was just about pointed straight and ready to get back rolling. So he would have been back up the pace within a couple of seconds. We'll just have to move on from this incident and keep rolling with this. Well, we're now halfway through the running. Just about, I think we're a couple laps to halfway.
Shout out to Grant Peterson and Ryan Dingler in the chat saying... saying these cars looking like darts without feathers. They are kind of looking that way. I can tell you they are hard to hang on to, and certainly once you start to ding them up a few times, it's going to get harder and harder to drive them. Glad you guys are watching, though. I just want to give a shout out to our guy Trey Shuttlesworth here. We have him listed as an analyst this evening, and buddy, a big shout out to you sticking through thick and thin this evening. Things not ideal for us this evening. We usually have a couple of extra guys with us, but just 2 people making this work, and Trey doing a great job over on social media. And in fact, you can catch his work on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Facebook.com/PitStopTV, at PitStopTV_ on Twitter, and at Pit_Stop_TV on Instagram. It's always great work that Trey and Corey put out. Trey this evening working on things, and I'm scrolling down Twitter on my end real quick, and I see a lot of great pictures, a lot of great updates. So if you aren't interacting with us over on social media, I would suggest doing so here soon. A lot of great visuals.
Yeah, nice...
Go ahead.
Oh, no, my apologies. The nice thing over the last couple of weeks, though, is just the fact that we've also been able to incorporate some video elements as well in terms of our in-race updates. And I think that does add a lot to the coverage that we're able to provide on those 3 platforms. But yeah, let's get ready for this restart, see what we can do.
You should get the 1 to go signal this time by. And a shout out to Robert Pattengale out in the chat. It's good to see you. Well, unfortunately we don't see you on the racetrack, but it's good to see you nonetheless in the chat. So he's just getting back from a business trip. Got a few guys out there to Sissons, it looks like. Possibly pulling for Barrick out pole. I count 5 drivers that have commented in our YouTube chat so far this evening. We've got Joseph and Logan Hamilton earlier, then Grant Peterson, Ryan Dingler, Robert Pattengale, not in the race this evening, but chiming in over on youtube.com/C/PitStopTV1. Green flag coming to you this time. And Joseph powers off and away. Fisher second. You see the side-by-side battle here as Schrauf went up the racetrack and Uphold goes on through. 3 wide now. Flores backs out. And we've got some crashing, maybe not. Certainly some crunching back there. But Frank Flores, the job he's doing is fantastic. No front end on this race car. As a caution flag does come out, and it's Logan Hamilton around the Tucson Sound Art Chevrolet Camaro. Big trouble. Big trouble.
As we get the replay rolling here for that incident, yeah, it's just amazing to see that car in that condition stands at least 2 spots away from that cash bonus that he would get if he's able to finish ahead of Ryder Schrauf, who's currently running in the 5th position as of that caution flag.
Logan Hamilton, some trouble on this restart. You see everybody going 3 wide, almost 4 wide sometimes. The stack up top, and that's what gets Hamilton. Oh, wow, you see Masadi hard in the wall. Brooker as well, and I think that might stack him up. Maybe not. No, definitely. They stack him up a little bit, and then Hamilton just loses it. It's getting tough for these guys. They've got to work on their throttle management, I think, for sure, if they want to go somewhere in the world of outlaws. I think these guys getting a rude awakening to some dirt racing techniques this evening, for sure. It's been fun to watch the transition for these guys, for sure. Nolan's out there. Hey, Robert Pattengale again. And you know what? I tell you what, we finally got the new Tucson Sound Art logo up there on the top left, and Robert, it looks fantastic. And along with our partner Tucson Sound Art on the broadcast, of course, Race Pace Setups, Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, Whiplash Media, BAM Racing Videos, and again, BAM Racing Videos currently at Lancaster Speedway. Another dirt track, not quite Bristol, but another dirt track, that one out in South Carolina. He'll be with myself and the rest of the Pit Road TV and Cars Tour TV crew this weekend at Orange County Speedway, but getting some dirt track racing action this evening. You know what? I got to plug the rest of the Cars Tour weekend. Orange County Speedway this weekend. If you're at all in the mood to go see some amazing short track racing, if you're in the North Carolina area, I recommend, I believe tickets still up for grabs to go up there to Orange County Speedway in Rougemont, North Carolina. If you can't make it out to the racetrack, you can watch. We'll be on the broadcast on CarsTour.tv and PitRow.tv. Get yourself a $25 subscription, and it gets you a whole month of anything on Pit Road TV, as well as anything on Cars Tour TV. And you get a whole lot of action this weekend. It's $30,000, Trey, to win. That's not the purse. $30,000 just to win, let alone the rest of the payouts in the field.
Yeah, ultimately, there's very few purses in short track racing, whether it be on the paved oval or the dirt oval side of things, that are able to match that figure. So if you're a race car driver, that could be a big boost to your program if you're able to pick up those $30,000 and, yeah, really utilize that as we head into the summer months, when I'm sure schedules for a lot of drivers are really going to ramp up for a lot of those Cars Tour drivers.
Yeah, in fact, Josh Berry, if they do get Dega racing tomorrow for the NASCAR Xfinity Series, he'll be making the trip back from Talladega to Orange County Speedway to make his start in the Junior Motorsports number 8 late model stock car. And there's more than just the Cars Tour on hand. They've got the Carolina Pro late models and Carolina Pro modifieds, I believe, on hand. We've got a lot of action, I'll tell you that. Everything getting scratched for tomorrow, unfortunately, weather forcing our hand there, but Jack McNally and the rest of the Cars Tour crew getting things set up for a Sunday show, and I am very much looking forward to one of the, if not the biggest race of the Cars Tour season. Back green flag here. And Joseph, a big restart. Brett Fisher, Stephen Parrott as well. And Joseph, he's just having problems getting up out of the corner. I think everybody else has that advantage out of the corner, but Joseph, I think, better entry to center. And Parrott, he's working the bottom side really well right now. Stephen Parrott, where did you come from? As side by side from the race lead, we'll watch from Parrott's point of view. Caution flag once more. And this one may be Noah Carmichael, even though he's taking a quick toe to the pit lane. See what happens to the driver out of Florida. I'll tell you what, Noah puts together some great articles. He's done so for Whiplash Media a little bit. He's worked with us at Pit Stop TV. He's put together some fantastic articles. I wonder if he's going to write something up about this race afterwards. Boy, he could write pages on pages about this one. Off of this restart, you see him working into the bottom side off of, well, into turn number 1. Down to the loose stuff, the wet stuff down the backstretch. Sets him up for a rough 3 and 4 up the racetrack. Does he have help, or does he just go around? Just goes around and hard in the wall like Frank Flores earlier. Well, the end of the wall, that is.
Yeah, I believe that'll be the third time that Noah goes into the turn 4 attenuator, or the barrels, if you will. Yeah, it just overall, it's been definitely a rough night for Noah. he's been all through the midfield, the back end of the field, trying to make it work. And yeah, it's just fortune not in his favor tonight. And as you said, I think, you know, we'll be seeing some updates on the East Coast Autosport page. I believe that's what the car will run under tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Eventually, that's what he runs under, whether it be this or FTF Racing. So yeah, I'm sure he will be showing his displeasure there tonight.
Yeah, certainly not going to be happy with this effort this evening. He had a couple of great moves up close to the top 5, if not into the top 5 a couple of times, but just never really got anything going for the 03 car, unfortunately. When I saw he and Cole Freilich on the entry list, I thought those couple of friends might get something going, but Cole Freilich, a very early exit. He's going to end up, it looks like, 15th, and Noah Carmichael may join him there in 14th spot. Eric Watchhorn, Roy Grande, Tommy Gossett, Brennan Jenks, they all do not start or have early exits in the case of Eric Watchhorn. And let's revisit, then, the payouts this evening. Well, this is the format, and we had 0% track state when we opened up practice. Things changed a little bit throughout the night. We were going to have consies, not quite enough entries. In fact, we were 2 entries shy of having consolation races. We lined the field up regardless. And this is the payout we're working with this evening. And when I was talking to these guys pre-race and I heard they only had $25 up for grabs for these drivers, I was like, you know what? Let's add to that a little bit. I upped the ante for a few of these drivers. Well, first of all, the winner now gets $5 extra. Just trying to add a little bit of sweetness to that spot. And then we added this back to front dash for cash. And this honestly might have to be added in a few more times this season. I'm loving this idea. 2 drivers have the option to start from the rear and raise heads up for $10 extra. It's the highest finishing of the 2. Back to front drivers simply do not have to win to get the cash. They've just got to beat the other of the 2. And right now, well, those 2 drivers that took that opportunity, we went from the guys who started up front via the invert towards the back of the field. Right now, the first of those drivers, I believe, is still Ryder. No, it's not Ryder Schauf. He's in the pit lane. He's got some damage. He'll get back rolling. Frank Flores is the other of the 2, and it looks like by virtue of Schrauf pitting right there, Frank Flores currently, well, would get the $10 extra here, Trey.
Yeah, but of course, just as we've seen so far, the pace of this race has been fairly stop and go. So I'm sure there is going to be a lot of shakeups yet. But this presents an opportunity for Flores to really, if he can keep that track position, just pull away with it.
Single file restarts, changing things up this evening. We saw the NASCAR Cup Series do the same. Do get back green flag racing that time by Fisher and Joseph. They separate themselves for the race lead. A lot of jostling in behind. You see Fisher go to the top side, though, of Joseph. Joseph powers back on the inside, and Joseph squared back up to the race lead. Fisher this time, right back up to the top. Lap 41 of 75, just to the far side of halfway, powering back by up there. And I love that Joseph is sticking to his guns down low. He knows that bottom side is going to have to be used. The entire track slicked off at this point. Fisher does power by for now. We talked to Fisher earlier on in this race. He's got some figure 8 experience back in the day, running the late models in the BRPI Racing Series that we cover on Monday nights. You can tune in here on Pit Stop TV on all of our platforms to catch that action, and it's cool to see that crossover. Ryder Schrauf has also moved on over. Some battling further back in the field. Butcher Benjamin gets ahead of Anthony Masadi that lap, and he's now in behind Barrick Uphold. Masadi throws that car in well and sideways. He's got company from Frank Flores, rather, as, oh, big contact. Schrauf hard in the wall. That might take Schrauf out of the contest. It was looking good for Schrauf to get back into that back to the front dash for cash. And then all of a sudden, troubles for Masadi compounded to troubles for Flores and Ryder Schrauf. We're right on board with the driver out of Indiana. As you see, Masadi throw that car in, got loose up top, and then gets loose there. Slams the 23 and back up in front of Schrauf. Nowhere to go. Nowhere to go for Jeremy Berger either. And boy, what a hit.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've had attrition. I think back to Cole Freilich and Merrick Watchhorn in the early stages of the race. Of course, we just saw Noah Carmichael, withdraw from the session, but it looks like we're starting to rack up those numbers quite again. And I think that might be the end of the night, as you said, for Flores, because that was just a purely brutal hit.
Just like a ball game, you can only go through the lineup so many times. And I think the batting rotation's starting to catch a few of these guys out. And, I mean, this was a swing and a base hit, I'd say, for Anthony Masadi when he... Oh, my gosh, just a slam there. And we'll call that a ground rule double. As far as Ryder Strauss' fate, he's still in the race, but you see a lot of damage on the front end of that 58 car. And really just all over for him this evening. I love that chrome, and coming up soon, these guys do have a race at Indianapolis where they're going to have the opportunity to run a couple of special paint schemes on these cars. And the theme for Indianapolis will be chrome, and I can only imagine what Ryder's going to do to the rest of that car to continue to make it fit in. It's already chrome, but I don't know where he's going to add more. I mean, I guess make the blue chrome, just go ahead and change the spec map to be the entire race car. But Frank Flores then, now in our Dash for Cash recipient position. What do you say we grab him and we talk to him real quick here, Trey? We'll get the driver of the 23 now, teammates with Brett Fisher, who's done a great job so far this evening. And Frank, currently, you're in that spot to get the Dash for Cash. Do you think you can hang on?
I'm trying my best. I've been talking to my teammate, wonder if I should get a fast repair or just hold on because I've been doing pretty decent.
Well, I called it out some 30 laps ago, liking this strategy from you to just hold out as long as you can. How much longer do you think you hold out? When do you think you take it?
As long as I can. I mean, honestly, hold on a second. Honestly, I'm just, if you keep on getting cautious like this, I think everyone's going to drop out and they'll just take it all.
I mean, you know what? If there's only one car left running, it may as well be you, right? So what else have you been trying to do this race, trying to learn this racetrack as it's changed?
I'm just trying to keep it straight much as I can, and I just noticed that inside groove is coming back again, so I've been trying that a little bit. Just working with my teammate a little bit, Brett Fisher. Shake and bake race, and we just formed our week. What's it called this week? So
yeah, I heard from Nolan you guys have that brand new team, Shake and Bake Racing. How do you think that's going to help you going into next week's, I guess, for instance, at the Roval?
Oh, I don't even know. I'm not liking the Roval. That's my wife. I've been a lot of obscenities lately. I just hate that track, but we'll see what happens. I've been practicing a lot. Hopefully, I'll get it figured out by Wednesday. Friday, I mean.
All right, Frank, we'll let you get back to it with your teammate, Brett Fisher. Congratulations on the run so far. Best of luck to you the rest of the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Frank Flores working things out, and should be in about the 7th or 8th position on this restart. We'll see what he can do the rest of the way. And again, he is ahead currently of Ryder Strauss for that Dash for Cash spot. I like saying that. Of course, the Xfinity Series has their Dash for Cash. I think a back-to-front Dash for Cash challenge in each one of these races might have to be something we do more often, Trey. What do you say?
Honestly, even in the point racing format, I think it's something that could work incredibly effectively. It could create scenarios where race car drivers that are, well, at this point in time, comfortably into the playoffs, whether it be, anyone in the top 5 really, our points leader, Holden McGill, Joseph, who's up front in this race right now, Merrick Watchorn, Logan Hamilton. Maybe those guys are comfortable not qualifying or just electing to go to the rear of the field. They might have the pace to come up through the field, and they could duel with someone that also has a lot of pace.
We'll have to look more into it and speak with the L-TAC admins, but green flag this time. Fisher throws that car sideways. And Joseph working the bottom, might get right back around that 30 car. Fisher had the race lead on the restart. And they fight through 3 and 4 once more. Side by side, almost contact at a 4. Still green flag racing now. 30 laps to go for the 30 car. This is incredible so far what Brett Fisher's done to try and get back ahead and, well, now gap the 20 car of Joseph looking on from the back end of this 30. Well, we got one car, it looks like maybe around, that might be Logan Hamilton back there. We stay green flag for now. Here's the battle for about 3rd, 4th, it looks like. Parrott in 3rd, Jack B. Ryan trying to go live for 4th. It looks like he'll get it. Noticing the order switching up, and yellow may have come back out. Are we having a problem here with the pace car, possibly?
Do see the caution back out in the iRacing.com simulator. We'll have to look for the origin of the incident as a result.
I mean, I gotta say, in our timing and scoring, Like Masadi possibly was the source of this. Take a look back.
Yeah, I do see that Musadi is a driver that elected to come down to the pit lane.
So here's Masadi. This is already under caution, it looks like. So we gotta go even further back. We gotta really go searching in this one. We'll go a little further back. We'll see what happens here to the driver of the 49 car. And Anthony Masadi, this might be it. So he's back in with the race field here. You see Berger in the wall, Uphold up ahead, and Masadi, does he over-rotate or does he get caught up in somebody else's mess? This is where Hamilton spins, and this may have just been the caution flag right then and there. Saves it. And Uphold sideways. I mean, we got to do some searching here.
On lap 46, it looks like Nate Brooker does spin around in front of a couple of drivers. Unfortunately, no one else really gets. And here it is. I say no one else gets collected, but Musadi actually takes some pretty heavy contact as a result.
And there are a couple of big hits right there. Nate Brooker, of course, goes around the catalyst in all of this, but let's take a look back and see what leads up to it. So you see Brooker was sideways in 1 and 2 already, down to the bottom side here. He's going to collect a couple of very, very unfortunate drivers, I'd say. Uphold there. Flores as well. We were just talking to Flores. He keeps going, but a big hit to the nose from Asadi. And did Flores get through okay? He got a little bit of damage out of that. A little bit of contact with Berger as well. All of that happens, though, and we go back green flag racing up at the front. The caution took us a little bit longer to sort through. Brett Fisher, the race leader. Joseph second. We are back green flag racing. Lap 47 of 75. Joseph working the bottom. No dice that time through. The battle for third kind of dissolves. Stephen Parrott now holding on over Taylor Butcher Benjamin. Yeah, I will echo what Nolan's saying out in the chat, and this is not at all normal for the L-TAC Cup Series. We usually have some fantastic racing here on Friday nights. But, of course, this is the product when you bring some of these the dirt cars to the pavement guys at Bristol. Not even dirt cars. Pavement cars on dirt. There we go. And it's certainly been a struggle this evening, but we keep on racing. Almost 25 to go. Almost into that final third. We're getting closer as we near 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern. It's been a fun one, though, I gotta say. Even being here solo this evening has been pretty fun. Seeing these guys take these cars on dirt. Something so wildly different, and this is our first opportunity to do this on Pit Stop TV. Bring you the NASCAR Cup Series cars on dirt, especially here at Bristol. It is always a treat. It's certainly a treat this time, and hopefully a bit more often. We do have Bristol dirt to look forward to at the Nork iRacing Series further on in the summer as these guys work lap 51. Benjamin saves it, maybe. We stay green. Much like the color of that one car, who fortunately, big problems. He's going to fall back to about the 9th, maybe even 10th spot if Masadi keeps going. There's Banner Uphold. We talked with him earlier on in this race. Stephen Parrott just up ahead. Uphold right on the top side. It's right on board here with the driver of the 92. It's actually Schrauf. Problems in the bottom. He's going to lose a couple of spots. Remember, he's still in this battle with Flores to be the driver that gets $10 extra out of this. Schrauf is pitted lately, and I think he took his fast repair, and he definitely has based on the look of that race car. So these drivers all started this race with one fast fix. He has used his. Fisher has not used his. Joseph has not either. They've stayed out the entire race. Jack B. Ryan, he's used his in third, and he's already got a lot of damage to that race car. You see the gap up ahead. And when you leave these guys up front to it, that's the gap that you can expect. They are starting to figure things out. Barrick Uphold now through to 4th. Jeremy Berger in 5th. The battle rages on.
And we're starting to near the back end of this race. Next time around for Brett Fisher, it will in fact be 20 laps to go. And we're still seeing the bottom being incredibly difficult for these drivers to make where, and that slider wasn't completely executed there by Barrick Uphold. And unfortunately, Berger is going to be the victim as a result.
Side by side now, a couple of cleaner race cars anyways. Uphold and Schrauf. Uphold may have taken his fast repair as well. Schrauf a bit sideways at a 4. That late model he runs on Mondays, certainly nothing like this Cup car this evening. side by side, Parrott and Berger. They race off into turn 3. That was turn 3 that they went through. Turn 4 and across the line to complete lap 56 of 75. And Berger now in the wall. Hamilton going to try and take advantage of that. Hamilton should... Ooh, he got hooked into the wall a little bit. Up front, Brett Fisher is clear by 4 seconds. And Trey is starting to look like... Well, it's looked like for a while he's certainly the favorite, but it's looking like he may just have this one in the bag.
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt tonight. We did see at times Joseph had the pace to go out there and hold the race lead at times, and he's had his fair share of troubles, as you can tell just by how beat up his car is at this point in time. But Brett Fisher, you said it a couple of laps ago, Andrew, the fact that he's not had to utilize a fast repair, and his car still looks relatively clean. I think it says a lot about his abilities to keep the car in one piece tonight, and he's also shown probably to have the best pace in the field so far.
Certainly the best pace and the most discipline will get you quite a ways here on dirt. Ryder Schrauf, bearing up hold, they battle for 4th. And Schrauf looking like he might be $10 richer at the end of the night. Fights to the top side. Gets up ahead of Barrick Uphold. Flores is our other driver in that little bet. See who can go from the back to the front, or at least the front of the other driver, and he's having some troubles now. A lot of damage on that race car, certainly underpowered at the moment. And you know what, Robert? I think Fisher is maybe the only one that doesn't have any noticeable big damage. A little bit to the right rear, maybe the right front, he gets into the wall there. I mean, he's got to be the only race car that you can say has no damage, and that's stretching the truth a little bit. Joseph, of course, has no front end, and he'd be the next fastest anyways. Ryder Schrauf, he's got some damage again. He gets up into 3rd, though, and ahead of Jack B. Ryan now, who's, of course, got a ton of damage on his race car. I recall Uphold looking pretty clean, though, and he's got a little bit of rear end damage, relatively clean, though, and a clean front end. Jack B. Ryan back into the wall. Trying to bring the fight back to the RCS Racing 58, now into turns 3 and 4. Barely holding on to things. I think certainly that the progression over the course of the night, Trey, is remarkable. And while it was pretty rough there at the start, we've thinned the herd a little bit. We're starting to see a lot of great car control from these guys. And certainly they've learned a lot over the course of tonight's race.
Yeah, and I think in part you can credit it for how slick this track has become. In nature, it means, as a race car driver, you're going to have to do a lot more throttle modulation, which probably means, in theory, the car is going to be a lot more difficult to handle. But what it also does is it really slows down the cars, and it can make it so that it's a little bit more methodical to get the car around the racetrack, as opposed to just purely throwing it into corners at really high rates of speed.
A battle here, 7th and 8th, as Parrott loses that spot to Masadi. Inside of 10 laps to go, that last time through. And Masadi hanging on to that spot. Butcher Benjamin there as well. Remember, he got hooked. Right hooked by Logan Hamilton, lap 1 of his heat race. Heat number 2, lap 1. They didn't even get to the start-finish line before he was backwards, and he's made a decent comeback, just keeping in this race. A little bit off pace at the moment. The Pennsylvania driver currently in 9th position out of the 11 left running, but I think certainly a decent comeback given the circumstances. Stayed in that heat race, got a couple of spots, and stayed in things. That's what I admire out of a driver, certainly. Staying in this race is to see these two just keep going at it up ahead. Parrott now on the good side of Anthony Masadi. Masadi loses that 7th spot. Regroups, might have something for him. Meanwhile, 6 seconds clear of 2nd place. Brett Fisher continues on this dominating tear through the field.
And ultimately, after how chaotic this entire race has been, with the amount of cautions we've had and just the amount of chaos throughout the field, anyone who's able to walk away with a car that was able to complete all 75 laps should be incredibly happy and should duly celebrate tonight.
We might have to get every single finishing driver out there to do some donuts, I'd say. Fisher still working the top side. 5 laps to go, this time by the stripe. Goes under the flag stand. Barney gives him that 5 to go signal. A lot of the field spreading out. Parrott and Hamilton now going at it. And I believe these two teammates as well, as you see Hamilton riding the wall. Parrott goes down the racetrack a little bit, but regroups, gets back into it.
The other thing I've noticed, the laps continue to wind down. We look towards that head-to-head battle for the cash for the drivers that start near the back end of the field, and right now it looks like Ryder Strauff is ultimately on the top of the battle between him and Frank Flores for the time being.
Yeah, far and away. We got Frank Flores, unfortunately, a lap down. It's unfortunate how it's worked out for him. He was trying to hold out as long as he could and ends up holding on just a little bit too long, if you can believe it. And it's gone a couple of laps too far. One caution too far anyways before taking that fast fix. I think if he had that last time through, he might have been able to fight Ryder Strauff here, but he's lost a lap to race leader Brett Fisher. And Ryder Strauff should power off and away easily to that $10 bonus. Final 2 laps, under a mile to go for Brett Fisher in the L-TAC Cup Series All-Star Race at Bristol Motor Speedway. Certainly setting the tone for what this All-Star Race could be in the future. Brett Fisher, white flag, 1 lap to go from Barney the Flagman. One last trip around the red dirt here at Bristol Motor Speedway. Just incredible the run that he's put on. The walloping he's put on the field. 9 seconds back to second place and out of turns 3 and 4. Brett Fisher's an all-star race winner. Gets it done on the dirt at Bristol Motor Speedway. Joseph comes through 3 and 4 for the final time. He will complete this race. He'll finish second place. Ryder Strauff there in third. He officially picks up the back-to-front challenge and that $10 bonus as Fisher gets to celebrate in Bristol. 75 laps of feature racing in the books. That's all the driver of the number 30. We've recently seen him get into dirt on Monday nights in the BRPI Racing Series. Says he used to run figure eights, has a little bit of knowledge of what to do on dirt tracks, and it's certainly paying off for him this evening. A big W. It's not points racing. He's still got a lot of work to do there on that side of things, but here in the L-TAC Cup Series, he is officially now the first All-Star Race winner. It's done on the dirt at Bristol Motor Speedway. We'll take a quick step away. We'll be right back to you momentarily with post-race coverage from Bristol. Don't go anywhere. Post-race coverage, the L-TAC Cup Series All-Star Race, right after this.
Sound art is a product that is a speaker and it's art. We combine it together and we call it sound art. What makes it so unique that any picture can be your speaker? Sound art gives you the high quality sound without the ugly speaker. This isn't a picture with a speaker, the picture is the speaker. Just imagine your wedding picture uploaded onto a canvas and now it's speaking 10,000 tunes. I mean, it's a very cool concept. What we like so much about it that you can take anything that means something very special to you, upload it on the canvas, have it hanging up in your room, your balcony, wherever you want to put it, and now it's a speaker. I mean, how cool is that? It's something that we have that and no one has. No one has this product. It's just a great gift to give anybody. It's just a neat concept. Around here we say, art never sounded so good.
After months of quarantine, we're all interested in how we can become our best self. The team at Permanent Makeup and Cryo is here to help you get the flawless makeup look every day without the extra effort or time. When it comes to your appearance, you deserve the best care that money can buy.
Sound Art introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. Sound Art ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
And welcome back to the Bristol Motor Speedway. What a show that one was, Trey. Cannot believe what we saw this evening. A lot of great racing, a lot of cautions, let's be honest. It was a bit rough to sit through, but boy, was it worth sitting through. 15 cautions paid off in the end because that was a darn good run to the finish. Brett Fisher comes out on the top side of things. We'll talk to our race winner. And Brett, we talked to you a little while ago, earlier on in this race. You had a lot of good things to say, certainly pretty hopeful, and it all paid off.
Yeah, it did. Like I said, I told you I was going to run that high line, and I got the wall a few times, but I was just really comfortable up there, and I knew if I could beat Joseph off the start, that I was just going to run that high side, and I knew I was going to win about 15 to go.
And so there at the end, you got that top side rolling, even as it was just falling off, and you guys kept getting loose dirt up there. The slick was just getting worse and worse, and the track was continuing to dry out. What were you trying to do from your point of view to keep the rear end of that race car under you?
I was turning in a lot earlier than I did, earlier in the race. I was throwing it into a slide and just running that right rear right up in that cushion, and it was sticking pretty well. So that's all I really changed throughout the race.
It's obviously not a whole lot you can take from this evening to any of the rest of the season, but this has got to be a pretty big confidence booster, pretty big morale booster at the very least, I'd say.
Oh, it's a huge one. I'll be dead honest with you. I've never won a race in iRacing. Been doing it for less than a year, and this is my first league.
No way.
Yeah, I never won a race, so this is my first ever win. So it's really good to get my win here on this type of stage, so it's great.
Buddy, that's huge. I'm glad we were here for it. I'm glad that I was the one who called it then. Your first win on iRacing. That's pretty impressive given the way you dominated this evening. Again, this has to be big for you then going into the Roval. How do you feel about the rest of the season? I know you've been in that conversation to work your way into the playoffs, into the chase, and it's starting to look like you're going to be there.
Yeah, I hope so. Let's add some dirt races to it, and maybe I could get me a win there. But no, I'm just going to try to hold on, learn from these guys, and then, just learn the rest of the season. Hopefully I'll be in the top 16 in the end.
I want to double check these standings and just check on where you are coming into this evening. You come in, it looks like in the, I'll look for your name here, 12th position, yeah. And, of course, this evening, I'm not going to change things, but going into the Roval next week, we talked to Frank Flores a while ago. He doesn't sound too confident. What are you guys going to do as a team to work through the Charlotte Roval?
I know me and Frank, we're going to get on. We're going to run a few sessions together, practice together, kind of talk on what our strengths are at the track, what our weaknesses are, and just kind of shoot ideas off each other. And hopefully it pays off. I know I'm not going to be – I hope I'm a race winner, but, I'm just going to finish the race there. I'm not best at road courses, so this is a confidence booster for sure. So hopefully a top 15, top 10. That's my goal.
Well, hey, I tell you what, next week is going to take a lot of throttle control. You certainly have that down after this evening, I tell you what. So best of luck to you out there next week. Hopefully, that 30 car comes home with a points win next weekend.
Yep, appreciate it.
Brett Fisher gets things done. Actually, I got to ask you again before I let you go. Who do you thank, who do you shout out this evening, winning the L-TAC Cup Series All-Star Race?
Like I said, I just want to thank my mom, my stepdad, my grandpa, my grandma. They're all watching right now. They've been supporting me this whole time, and it just feels good. Family back home watching your race, so I want to thank those guys.
I'd say they're your good luck charm this evening. Make sure they watch next week then, eh? Best of luck to you. We'll see you then.
All right, thank you.
Brett Fisher wins here at the Bristol Motor Speedway, takes the All-Star Race victory over 9 seconds to this guy, Joseph. Joseph, Trey, we'll let you take it away.
And Joseph, first of all, thank you for joining us in the booth tonight following what was an incredibly impressive run, especially considering the state of your stock car after the 75 laps tonight. But yeah, unfortunately for you, it's another second place finish. What are the thoughts here knowing cash was on the line tonight?
It's disappointing, but I honestly expected it. I'm not really good at dirt. I don't really run it at all, and so I was surprised I was like decent at all in general, because I know there's a bunch of dirt drivers in here actually. So second's honestly pretty good, considering I'm bad. So I'll take it.
I think you're being a little bit too harsh on yourself after what you were able to do tonight, especially considering the state of the car. But definitely put on a very impressive show, Joseph. Otherwise, we saw a lot of track evolution over the course of the night. What did you do to adapt to that over the 75 laps?
Well, you really had to work the throttle on the track. At the beginning, it's just like wide open and just ripping the top because that's where like the grip is. But when it slicked off, you had to like work the throttle a lot. And I was hoping that the bottom was going to come in because I was really good at the bottom in practice. I was really able to hook it, but it never did. And the top was always just a prominent land besides the restarts.
And what were your strategies for making the restarts work for you? Seemed to work quite effectively at times.
Oh yeah, like in turns 1 and 2, like the really bottom of the track, like I kind of used the apron sort of, my left side's under, and it just turned the car really well, and that's what I was doing. But as the run got further along, it just like wore out.
All right, thank you, Joseph. We leave Bristol here. No points on the line, of course, but now it's time to get back into that points racing mode of thought. What are your thoughts as we head to the Charlotte Roval?
I don't know. I'm pretty good at road courses most of the time, so I think I might do decent. But the Roval is one of my worst road courses, so we'll see. I think I'll do decent at least. I'm just gonna try and close the points gap on Holden. Hopefully he does bad and I get stage points, so I can possibly make the gap again.
Hey, we'll have 55 laps to settle. Next week should be a lot of fun. Before you head out, Joseph, anyone you'd like to thank?
Once again, shout out you guys, Tucson Sound Art, Race Page, everyone. Thank the drivers too. Honestly, at the final half of the run, that was pretty fun. Honestly, how we all got to run around. Like the first half was kind of messy, but we all settled it out, and it was pretty fun at the end.
No, it was definitely a good show at the end, and we thank you for joining us tonight. Joseph, congratulations on second place. Look forward to seeing more of you in the running at the Roval next week.
Thank you. I hope to be up there too.
So that was our runner-up finisher tonight, Andrew, and now we have one man to round out the podium, and he has quite the storyline that we get to talk about.
Absolutely. I'm sure this guy is probably pretty happy right now, and Ryder Schrauf, kind of convenient. They end up taking that bonus. First, you take the opportunity to go to the back of the field. Then you got to work your way through all of that mess earlier on. But you end up leaving this evening $10 richer. I guess I'm going to have to get my wallet out.
Yeah, it was a good run there. Track slicked off kind of like I was anticipating it to, and just kind of, control that throttle and get up front.
So a whole lot to contend with this evening. It was certainly a difficult one. What was the biggest challenge that you'd say you had to face this evening, and what were you trying to do to try and work through that?
I'd definitely say the biggest challenge tonight was choosing to start in the back and then having to just work through all that not necessarily lap traffic, but the slower traffic and stuff, and trying not to get caught up in the wrecks.
Well, I'd say that is the point of a back-to-front challenge, my man, but you did a great job of it. Of course, Frank had some misfortune, ended up waiting one caution too long, it seems like, on his fast repair, but you still had to drive to the front, and you did exactly that. Third place this evening, and obviously, just like I told Brett, there's not a whole lot you can transfer from, you know, Dirt Bristol to anywhere else in the schedule, but certainly at least a confidence booster, a morale booster, and it has to have you feeling pretty good going into the Roval next week.
Oh yeah, I'm a dirt racer. I do pretty good at dirt. I probably the Roval is one of my better road courses, so we'll hopefully be able to carry this momentum into a good, decent finish next week.
Hey, throttle control will once again be very, very important, so you've got that figured out at least. Who did you thank? Who did a shout out this evening getting third place and that back to the front dash for cash bonus?
Well, I want to thank you guys for broadcasting this and then hosting that dash for cash bonus. I'd like to thank Tucson Sound Art for being on the hood of the car this tonight and all season long, and all the viewers I have on Twitch and everybody who helps run this league.
A big shout out then to your viewers on Twitch as well. Congratulations this evening, Ryder, on getting that bonus, that third place finish, and hopefully we're talking to you next week at the Roval as well.
Yep, thank you, buddy.
Ryder Schrauf gets things done, finishes third place this evening, Trey, and oddly enough, the Pit Stop TV car is the only car in the top 3 that isn't getting money out of this one this evening.
Yeah, it is, what can we say except quite the coincidence, but all around, all of the 3 drivers we interviewed each had their own respective stories to tell tonight, and they each put on a really impressive show. Whether it be Brett Fisher, who just a pure raw pace, or Ryder Schrauf that had to come through the field quite a bit, or Joseph, who didn't have the pace to match Brett Fisher on the long run, but he was still able to walk away with some laps led tonight.
Take a look at our race results this evening from the L-TAC Cup Series All-Star Race. 44 laps led for Brett Fisher, and 9 seconds to boot over Joseph, Ryder Schrauf, and more. Jack B. Ryan, he finishes 4th this evening. Barrett got pulled 5th. Stephen Parrott notches a 6th place finish. Anthony Masadi struggles, but gets on through and finishes 7th place after losing that battle to Stephen Parrott. And all these guys persevering on through the race, keeping in it. Gotta congratulate all of them just for that effort. Staying in this race is an achievement in and of itself. Logan Hamilton finishes 9th, right behind Taylor Butcher Benjamin, who just stays on the lead lap. And boy, he's had some terrible luck this season. It continued this evening. Just waiting for that breakthrough for Taylor, and it's got to be coming soon. And hey, Frank Flores, he gets a top 10 to boot as well. And Frank certainly put on a great fight this evening for that bonus against none other than Ryder Schrauf. And unfortunately, doesn't quite get it, but certainly a lot of TV time, and it was good to get to talk to him as well. Jeremy Berger, he finishes 11th place, the final car running behind ahead of Nate Brooker. Kyle Green there in 13th. Noah Carmichael, that was a pretty painful exit for him in the 03 car. Cole Freilich as well, a very early exit, along with Merrick Watchorn. Roy Grande, though, Tommy Gossett, and Brendan Jenks, they don't quite make the start. They don't make it into our feature race. They could have started this feature race. Unfortunately, they had whatever go on and didn't quite make it to the grid this evening. But, Trey, I gotta say, regardless of how rough that was being solo, regardless of just that taking a while, I think that was a fantastic race. It was a lot of fun.
While we saw green flag running, I think we saw drivers that were, thanks to the design of this being an all-star race where cash is on the line and points are not a factor. We saw guys being incredibly aggressive, and it did result in a massive amount of incidents, but the racing action was incredibly enthralling to watch throughout the running. And we were able to get that green flag run at the end, and while Brett Fisher wins by a massive margin, it does show that the man who had the best raw pace in the field, he purely deserved to win, and he was able to do it, and that was very nice to see.
It was definitely good to see Brett Fisher come out on top after all is said and done. I want to give a big shout out before we go, though, this evening, of course, to Tucson Sound Art. These broadcasts always brought to you by those guys at the Sound Art of Tucson. You can go to TucsonSoundArt.com to find out more and order your wall-mounted sound art device today. It's really easy to put up, really easy to connect, really easy to use, and it holds a charge for a really long time. Let me tell you, I love the one that I've got on my wall. I can be a solid ambassador for these guys. A fantastic product that Robert Pattengale and everybody else at Tucson Sound Art puts out. I highly recommend, be it for yourself, be it a gift, be it, I don't know, a Christmas present, even just to say, you like, whatever, you appreciate somebody, whatever it may be, whatever the occasion, it's a fantastic fantastic product. I stand by it every step of the way. Tucson Sound Art. Make sure to use promo code PitStopTV at checkout for 10% off of your order. These broadcasts, of course, also brought to you by the guys at Race Pace Setups, where you can pick up pace with Race Pace for your next GT3, Porsche Cup race, whatever it may be. They're even getting into some rallycross stuff, learning every nook and cranny there is to iRacing, and learning how to put more and more setups together to pick up pace for more drivers on the iRacing.com sim. Go to their Discord server, check them out, and tell Tyler that we sent you. This broadcast also brought to you by Permanent Makeup and Cryo in Maine, where you deserve the best care that money can buy, and these guys do fantastic work. No matter what the procedure may be it a permanent makeup procedure, cryotherapy, whatever it is, Ashley Bullier and her team of specialists will get it done right and at the right price for you. Check them out, permanentmakeupinmaine.com, and on Facebook and Instagram. These broadcasts, of course, also brought to you by I just said Permanent Makeup. It's been a long night, Trey. Whiplash Media, where you can grab yourself some wonderful camera packs like the ones we use in all of our broadcasts, some broadcast graphics, some other graphics, paint schemes, whatever it is that you need relating to the sim. Pretty much Whiplash Media can get it done for you, and they'll be happy to do so as well. The official broadcast graphic and camera provider of Pit Stop TV. These broadcasts, of course, also brought to you by BAM Racing Videos, by a race fan for the racing community. It was a fun one here at the Bristol Motor Speedway. A little bit of dirt on the racetrack and a whole lot of dirt on the race cars as well. Certainly was a tough one for these drivers, but they all got through it, and what a fantastic finish it was, especially for Brett Fisher. Grabs that race win, and I can't wait to see what he does the rest of the L-TAC season. A non-points venture for these drivers, just money and bragging rights on the line. Brett Fisher, Ryder Schroff, they walk away with a few extra bucks, and they have some bragging rights going into the Charlotte Roval. But that will do it this evening from the Bristol Motor Speedway in Bristol, Tennessee. Thank you for tuning in. That'll conclude our coverage of the L-TAC Cup Series All-Star Race. Be at Pit Stop TV. Once again, thank you for tuning in. Be at Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, Twitch, wherever you watched from. Thank you for doing so. We hope you enjoyed tonight's coverage, and we hope you come back for Monday night's coverage of the BRPI Racing Series Pro Dirt Late Models at the Lernerville Speedway in Starter, Pennsylvania. We've also, of course, got Nork on Tuesday, racing into the Bluegrass State at Kentucky Speedway for race number 5 on their brand new season. 25 races in total. They're not even a fifth of the way in. If you've missed the first few races, don't worry, you can still get in on things. Catch yourself up on our YouTube page or even Facebook and get yourself ready for Nork action on Tuesday evening. And, of course, the L-TAC Cup Series resumes points racing in 1 week's time from the Charlotte Roval. Make sure to be here April 30th, 9 p.m. Eastern for coverage of race 14 on the 29 race schedule. Make sure to follow us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/pitstoptv, on Twitter at pitstoptv_, on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/pit_stop_tv, on YouTube at www.youtube.com/c/pitstoptv1, and on Instagram at pit_stop_tv. For all of Pit Stop TV, well, this evening it was just myself and Trey Shuttlesworth out around taking some pictures around the racetrack and being a wonderful analyst this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Have a great night.